Do you think one would be able to preserve one's consciousness in the future? Can we outlive our physical bodies? What's the point to life if there's nothing after death? It may be hard to answer this as it falls in the philosophical realm, but my personal take. Yes, this is a philosophical question to a certain extent about what's the point to life if there's nothing after death. But to answer the first part of the question, will it be possible to preserve one's consciousness in the future? So that is currently the stuff of science fiction, that you can upload your brain and your memories to a computer. Now the thing is that our brain is structured in a very specific manner. It has a certain architecture that, and it has evolved over millions of years. It has layers. It has a primitive reptilian brain, and there are more layers to it. And the outer layer is what we call the prefrontal cortex and all. That is believed to be the seat of our humanity, right? So it has a very specific architecture, and in order to upload one's consciousness to a computer system, I believe it would be necessary for that computer system to also have a similar architecture, internal architecture. Otherwise, certain connections and certain data may not be replicated properly. Certain connections may be lost, certain memories may be lost, or they would be imperfect. And the essence of what we call humanity may be lost in that. It may just end up as a collection of data with certain connections. But the spark that makes us human, the consciousness, may not be present. And even if one were to upload one's consciousness into a machine, you're not uploading it, we're creating a copy of our consciousness. So it's a separate consciousness that when we upload it is the same as ours. But as it becomes conscious and functional, it will become separate from us. It will immediately be separate from us. It will go in its own direction. So it will be like having two of myself, but two separate individuals, right? And they will have their own future paths, and they will have their own separate experiences if they are allowed to. So to upload one's consciousness, even if that is feasible, doesn't mean that your consciousness will persist beyond the physical death of the body. A copy of your consciousness will persist in a physical data system, a computer system of sorts, right? So even if it becomes possible to make a copy of one's consciousness, it will just be a copy. After once a person dies, their consciousness from which a copy was made, that original consciousness will, well, if that's what it happens, then that consciousness will cease to exist, unless there is what the philosophers and various religious systems believe, that consciousness persists beyond death, of which we have no scientific evidence, right? So even if this technology becomes available, it's not going to extend your consciousness beyond the point of physical death.